I've been trying to figure out which booktubers I can take recommendations from. So I asked Books with Lexie and Riley Marie to face off in this booktuber battle and give me a book off their best of the year list that they think I would like. So who will be victorious? Will it be Books with Lexie with My Heart is a Chainsaw? Or will it be Riley Marie with The Patient? Guess you better watch and find out. Okay, I don't have a lot of plans for the day, so really it's gonna be reading My Heart is a Chainsaw. I have a live show at 1 for the Girl in the Stars Backlist Book Club, and then I have to work in the evening. But until then, I can read this. I'm about 100 pages in right now. Lexie gave this to me knowing I've tried Stephen Graham Jones before. I read Night of the Mannequins, and I did not love it, but I had weird expectations. Like, I expected something different than what that book is, which didn't help my enjoyment at all. And I have also tried The Only Good Indians and DNF'd that one because of the writing style. This book does start with a bang. I loved the prologue. I thought the prologue was so interesting. I was like really like, oh my god, what am I about to read? This sounds so cool. And then we get into like the next 100 pages, and I will say I'm struggling a bit with the writing style. So many run-on sentences. Like, some of these sentences are 7 lines long, just with a lot of commas. There's something about the prose that is just messing with my brain quite a bit, but I am intrigued in the story enough that I'm trying to like get over the writing style, because like I do want to know what's happening. I'm intrigued enough by the story we've set up, and specifically the little essays in this I'm loving, which is funny for me to say because I'm not a big mixed media format in my books. I typically like just like a regular plain narrative style of a story, so I avoid mixed media, which I know is a big buzzword for other people, but for me it just like kind of takes away from my enjoyment a lot of the time. But I'm living for the essays in this. I'm finding them really interesting, and I keep like trying to read chapters faster to get to the essays. If you don't know, the story follows Jade, who thinks that she could be in a slasher. She is a horror slasher fanatic. She loves them. And so she's trying to figure out how everyone is going to survive, how the slasher is going to play out. But she doesn't think she's going to be the final girl. But throughout this story as well, she's sending essays to her professor about how slashers work. What makes a final girl? What makes a villain? What does a slasher need in it to be a success? Having watched a lot of slashers, I'm really loving the callbacks to the classic slasher villains and like learning a little bit about that, because I've watched a lot, but I feel like I haven't thought that deeply into a slasher before, and this is really thinking very deeply into them. I'm really, really loving that element of it. In some ways, I'm really freaking bored by this book because some of the writing is just like very, very like descriptive. It's like describing things I do not care about, but I'm also really engaged in what could be happening in the story. I do kind of wish it was faster paced than it is. Like 100 pages in, and I feel like not a lot has happened besides the prologue and one other chapter. I loved the one other chapter with like the janitor. I'm hoping things pick up. I'm hoping I love this. I could go any way at this point. Like, honestly, I could love this book or I could hate it at this point. So I guess we're just gonna have to keep watching to find out, and I'm gonna have to keep reading to find out.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona.
Okay, I'm packing rom-com bookmarks, which is what you saw in B-roll. I'm just trying to get everything prepped for the announcement that will go live the first Saturday of February. And I am doing merch this year, a little sneak peek at it for you guys of what you saw. And I'm really excited, but I'm just like pre-packing them so that I'm ready when it goes live for everyone to get them, and I'm super excited. I'm about 30% into My Heart is a Chainsaw, and I switched to the audiobook. I do think the audiobook is better. It's helping me with the narrative style. I definitely don't have problems with that anymore. However, I need something to happen in this goddamn book. I feel like I just get like a tidbit of interestingness and then just so much boringness. Like, why am I sitting there for like 2 pages learning about someone illegally playing golf? I don't want to call it slice of life because it's not slice of life, but it reminds me of that style of writing where I'm learning a lot of things about other people, and it's like taking a lot of the time up to do that, and I'm just like not a fan. I feel like the plot needs to like get going at 30%. Like, I need something. I really, really need something. This book is feeling a lot longer than it is to me, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I am intrigued. Like, I'm interested in knowing what is exactly going on and things like that. And when I get an interesting tidbit, I'm like really, really in the story. But there's just so much useless information that I'm learning that I do not care about. Like, I don't care about a lot of things. However, I'm still loving the essays. Every time there's an essay, I get really, really excited. I'm just continuing to prep for Realmathon today. I need to take pictures of the bookmarks. I might play some Sims later because I'm like in the mood to play some Sims, but I don't have a lot of plans today other than just like doing that kind of stuff. And I do want to finish My Heart is a Chainsaw today. Like that is my #1 goal. Finish the dang book. I'm 60% into My Heart is a Chainsaw. I'm so sick of how repetitive this book is. We're using the same movie references. We're using the same like character interactions again and again and again, and I'm just like really bored of it. This book is not feeling like it's bringing anything new to me as it goes on, so it's like, why is it 400 pages long? I don't really know. Like what? Nothing has happened. Literally like nothing has happened in this book. I don't understand. But to cheer myself up from this and all the work I've been doing today, because I've been very productive, I decided to make myself a s'more croissant. Absolutely delicious. Let me just showcase it off to you. Look at that like oozing gooey goodness. Essentially, I just like cut the croissant in half and then stuffed it full of chocolate chips and marshmallows and put it in the oven just like on bake for a bit, and it's so good as like a snack. Next time you're at like Costco and you buy that box of croissant that's so huge and you're like, how am I gonna use this all? S'more croissants. Best snack. Best snack. Anyways, I have nothing else to tell you about My Heart is a Chainsaw because like just nothing has happened. So I have no feelings on it because nothing has happened and I'm just incredibly bored. I'm so sorry, Lexie. I'm so sorry. I hope the ending is really good. The audiobook is definitely better than reading it physically though. I will always suggest the audiobook for this one. I have a final update for you because I'm officially done My Heart is a Chainsaw. But first, let's talk about Lexie. If I had to tell you one thing I love about Lexie's channel, it is how freaking creative she is. I love her brain. She's always coming up with cool ideas. She has a lot of cool creative vlogs in my opinion. She has so many cool readathon ideas in her brain. Lexie's one of the channels that inspires me the most to create content. She just has a way of keeping me intrigued with like what idea is gonna come next out of her brain. She has a few series that I absolutely love. She does one where she switches reading taste with a fellow booktuber. They each picked 2 books they loved and 1 book they hated, and they don't tell each other which is which and they have to read them. And I think that that's a lot of fun to see and see how tastes match up. I also love her Can I Predict Whether a Book Will Be 5 stars at 25% video and so many more. There was a Secret Santa train vlog thing that went around on her channel and other channels that she created where like people put on their wish list and their Secret Santa gave them a book they had to read and vlog. So freaking cool. Like she's just filled with so many cool ideas. If you're looking for a channel who 1 can just inspire you if you are another creator, or 2 just feels fresh and is bringing like new ideas to the YouTube scene, I highly suggest Lexie. On top of that, she also has a really good balance in her critical versus passionate reviews, and I really love that. It means that you can really trust her, but you can also like be swept away in the books she loves. And even though I'm about to crush your hopes and dreams with my review on My Heart is a Chainsaw, Lexie, I am just truly happy that you are in my life, and I hope more people go subscribe to your channel after this because regardless of my bad taste, I love you. This book. What am I gonna say about this book? I have nothing to say. I don't think I have anything to say, anything at all. Last time I updated you, after that, I just was bored. I zoned out. By the time anything happens within this story, I'm gone. I ran away, I was Forrest Gump, and I was running. This is so slow. It's so just like stream of consciousness. I think I tried to call it slice of life earlier, but no, it's like stream of consciousness. I just didn't care about all of the thoughts that were happening. I loved the essays. I truly think the essays were like 5-star material for me. Every time we got to an essay, I was really excited to pick it back up and read those parts. And then we were not in the essays and just in her POV, and I was like, why am I learning about this for the 17th time? How many times does Jaws need to be referenced in a dang book? And I love Jaws too, but like how many times can something relate to Jaws? There's a interesting part of Jade and her obsession in this. Her narrative tone and style made this book very chaotic, but in such a boring way at the same time that I could not follow everything that was going on in every plot thread, and then just nothing happens for a really long time until the end, and the end really does escalate. The end is fun and cool, but like that didn't save the book for me. Honestly, if this had been 100 pages shorter, I think it would have gotten at least a star higher. I think about 250 to 300 pages is where I really lost my interest, and so if it had been 100 pages shorter, because I could only take so much of the stream of consciousness for me, I didn't love Jade enough to like just be sucked into her mind and thought process, to have things be so repetitive as they went, that I think less of that would have made this a really good book for me. Like, honestly, I see elements that I really like. I loved the callbacks to slashers. I loved the idea that we weren't following a final girl. I loved the like conversations we have about community and parenthood and what a community should do for a child when they see a child in need and what they don't do, specifically when there is race involved, and how that affects your importance, quote unquote, in society, and how society reacts to seeing you in need and things like that. I loved those societal discussions. I think they're really, really well thought out and really, really well done. But I just couldn't care by the end of this. Like, truly, I just couldn't care. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Lexie. I'm giving this a 2-star. I wanted to love it. So next on the docket, we have Riley. And I'm really hoping to love Riley's book because I need it. This is not my reading year at this moment in time. That's for sure. I truly need to love something. So I'm hoping Riley comes through for me. All my hopes are on Riley's shoulders at this point. Lexie, you can just pretend you never watched this video. Thank you.
Okay, Barbie. Go off.
Okay, I've made it 23% into The Patient, and I gotta say, so far, this book is doing exactly what I think it's setting out to do, and I'm enjoying it. It definitely is making me feel uncomfortable. It's definitely making me feel disturbed, but it's definitely supposed to be doing that, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm really curious about what's going on.
It's lunchtime, so I'm gonna make myself an iced coffee and some lunch. I'm gonna make a pita wrap. We have leftover ground pork, so I'm just gonna put some ground pork and some vegetables and some feta cheese and some hummus and some yogurt into a little pocket, and it's one of my favorite dinners, lunches to eat. Like, whenever we buy fresh pita, like, our go-to dinner is some sort of like pita wrap, and honestly, incredible, chef's kiss, and so freaking easy, and honestly, kids love it too if you have kids. Like, I've loved this since I was a child. Delicious, and it's like a variation on tacos, essentially. But before I do that, I figured I would tell you about Riley, because Riley is the person who gave me The Patient. I'm 50% into The Patient, and I'm still really liking it. I'm still really enjoying it. So, while I'm in a happy place of reading, let's talk about Riley. I feel like Riley is like a staple on YouTube at this point. If you aren't already watching Riley, like, go watch Riley. There's something very cozy about her videos. I feel like watching Riley, I feel like I'm watching a friend. She talks to the camera as if she's talking to you. She literally feels like she's just like hanging out with us, and she's doing a hobby that she loves, and she's reading books, and she's just really excited and passionate to talk to us about her books. And like, literally can't express how much I love that about Riley's channel. Like, I just love that, like, putting on her video, it feels like a couch friend. Like, it feels like a no work friend where you're just like sitting down and you know that you could do absolutely nothing in the same room together. That is the vibe I get from Riley's videos. It's just like this no effort, passionate, very like fun and like bestie that I've made. So definitely if you're just like looking for someone to just kind of hang out with, like, I feel like just like watching Riley's videos or like hanging out with her, it's hard to get that vibe across, and I think she does it so like seamlessly. On top of the fact that she is very passionate when she reads. Like, when she loves a book, she definitely makes everyone else want to love that book. I believe you see her every single year at a lot of booktuber favorites because of this trait that she has to make you want to drop everything and read the book she just loved. Anyways, all I have to say is like, Riley's channel is literally immaculate. I love it. You should go watch it. She does a lot of creative vlogs as well. Like, I put two people that remind me very similarly of each other and each other's channels in this video. They're both very creative. They're both very passionate. They're both a lot of like fun to watch and feel very natural on camera. So definitely, like, please check out Riley's channel. She's incredible. I'm gonna make lunch now because I'm really freaking hungry, and just staring at my ingredients in front of me is making the tummy grumble.
Trees are green, the ocean is gray, sky is a lake, the room is a mess, it could end. My favorite TV shows are capturing. I know I must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise.
Okay, at this point in the book, I'm really liking it, but I'm trying to prepare myself for maybe an ambiguous ending, which is not always my favorite. I'm a very logical reader, so I typically like things to be wrapped with a pretty like bow at the end of a book, which means horror can be a hit or miss genre for me in general. So I'm just kind of like preparing myself for that, because a book this short typically just screams ambiguous ending for me. So I'm preparing myself because I'm really, really intrigued. If you don't know, The Patient is about our character who is a new therapist, and he decides to look for a place that really needs him in the health field. Some place that is maybe not the most pristine, maybe not the most perfect, with a case that he can really make a difference on, a hospital he can make a difference in, which lands him in this place. He's like a psychologist, I guess I should have said. I think I just said therapist. He's a psychologist. So he gets to his new placement, and there is a patient in here that has never been diagnosed. He's been in the hospital for 20 years, since he was 6 years old, and everyone who seems to go into his room comes out crazy. That is just like really intriguing in like setup wise. I was really, really interested to understand what was happening. We finally gotten in the patient's room ourselves, and I'm just like kind of blown away by like, wait, what? Like, I just like don't really know what to think at this point, which like for a short book is really positive in my opinion. I'm really excited. I'm on the edge of my seat. I keep wanting to flip pages to know what's happening next, to learn about the patient. So this is the downhill part of why ambiguous endings don't really work for me, because I'm really intrigued to figure out what is actually happening, and sometimes we don't get to figure out what is happening. So we will see how I fall on this one, because I'm preparing for maybe not all the answers, but I really, really want answers. But like, so far, like, I'm enjoying this quite a bit.
5 stars. I actually am surprised by how much I enjoyed this. And I was really, really worried this was going to be too short for me. But I honestly think it was about the perfect size. It really kept my intrigue, left me feeling so uncomfortable, which is something I feel like I'm really looking for in horror books when I'm reading them, is just a sense of like dread or uncomfortableness or like disturbed or like grossness while I read. I typically describe it as like, I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm not necessarily ever scared, so I feel like this is the emotion I want horror to bring out of me, and I think that this book did that really well. I think it plays on a lot of human fears, and I really enjoyed that aspect, and it concluded pretty nicely in my opinion. I really liked the conclusion. Yes, I guess you could say it was ambiguous, but it worked for me. I'm really happy that Riley picked this for me. I don't think this is a book that would have ever been on my TBR, and it's another one of the like Reddit books, Lexie told me. Like Pen Pal, it was published on Reddit first, and there was like a Reddit competition or something. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I just know there was a competition where people posted like their short story novellas on, and this was one of those, and I think I want to try more of those, because both this and Pen Pal really made me feel uncomfortable and disturbed and worked for me. So I'm really, really excited about how I feel about this book. I just was constantly wondering what was happening. I definitely will be recommending this. I actually texted my sister like right after finishing it and saying, hey, I think you should pick this book up. I think you could really like it. I always think that's a good sign. If I finish a book and I'm automatically recommending it to someone, I mean, do we really need even a drum roll at this point? Because it's pretty clear who the winner is. For, you know, the sake of an official competition, The Patient is the winner of this booktuber battle. I mean, a 2-star versus a 5-star. So everyone make sure to give Riley a big round of applause, because that makes her the official winner of Booktuber Battle Horror Edition. I do think I need to give a disclaimer just for Lexie's sake that Riley and Lexie formed an alliance pretty early on into this and gave me books that each of them both gave 5 stars and really enjoyed. Both of them are winners and both of them are losers in some aspects, because I loved one and didn't really enjoy the other. But tomatoes, tomatoes. Riley's the official winner. If you aren't already subscribed to either of these channels, please do. They have some of my favorite content on booktube. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me some sort of insect emoji. I would also love to know if you're planning to read any of these books, or if you have a horror recommendation for me below. And if you're interested in learning more about my horror taste, there is my 10 favorite horror books right here for you to go check out. Horror is a genre that I'm definitely trying to dabble a little bit more in and understand my taste in a little bit better. If you have any recommendations, I would love to know, and this video might help you out.